Hello, friends. It's William here from Allegory Gallery. Thank you for joining me today. Whew, it's been a day. It has been a day. It's been a very busy day. Hello, Angela. I see you're here. Thank you for joining us. If there's anyone else here, please say hi. Let us know in the comments. So how are you all doing on this first day of Mercury retrograde? I found out that some of my emails have been hiding from me, and also some of my emails that I've responded to aren't sending. And I don't know how long this has been going on. Um, I just happened to look today. I was doing an email, and I was using my desktop here and it seems to be happening from this one here at the cottage. And this is the one when I sit down at work, I usually respond to emails mostly with. So today I was loading up my email for the live today, and I just happened to notice, I thought my iPad was behind in catching up to what was happening because it wasn't showing the response to a particular email today. And I started going through and looking, and I noticed that some of the other emails, the same thing was happening to. The ones that I had thought that I had sent doesn't look like they ever sent. So I went over to the desktop over here, and usually I just let it running. I don't restart it very often. I leave the apps up and running, and it is stuck on a sending email. When I look in the, there's an activity monitor, and I looked in there. It is stuck on sending email. There's no outbox, so it didn't put them into the outbox to send them, but it's somewhere between. They now allow you to unsend an email. So if you accidentally send an email and you don't really want to send it, the Mac has a built-in function to unsend. Really, all it's doing is delaying that email by whatever moment you say. So I think I have like a 2-minute, because usually when I send an email, I've looked over it like 18 billion times to go over it in my head with my anxiety. Do I think this is going to upset anyone? I go over it a lot? So usually I have it set to the lowest point, which is 2 minutes, but I still give myself that buffer. And I realized down below it says unsend email. Now, I haven't sent an email today for the last probably 2 hours. And so that should have gone away. So it's stuck. I don't know how many emails have gotten stuck. I'm trying to figure that out. So if you've not gotten a response from me, that's possibly why. Also, I noticed that one of my iPad is putting different things in the junk mail than the desktops. So some things are going to junk on one that aren't going to and that's not even supposed to be possible. So there has to be something with the organization of the messages on the Mac. It's all run by a database. So when I get a moment, I'm going to go through, and there's a way that you can rebuild your mailboxes on a Mac. It takes a while. And I have a lot of inboxes that I keep track of things in. So I have to rebuild them because something is not right. So I apologize if you have been waiting to hear from me, or if you sent something and never got a reply. I do try to reply to people. If you don't get a reply from me in a few days, usually send me another one if you think about it, because normally I try and reply usually usually a day or two, business day. I don't always look at them. I usually count my business days as Monday through Thursday, because when I'm at the store, I don't always get to look at I don't always look at my emails up there, because a lot of stuff has to do with stuff that's here, and I can't do anything when I'm up there. But yeah, so like I've been sending out emails. People have been requesting things, and I've been sending out emails with pictures of things and and asking, do you want this one, this? And I haven't gotten anything back, and now I'm wondering how many of those actually never went out. Not fun. So that's life here today. Been trying to figure trying to figure out what's going on. Let's see. William is keeping us guessing about when to find him. Not really. If you look at the Allegory Gallery page on Facebook, it'll tell you. It'll tell you, kind of. Yeah, I went back to tonight. Because I was messing around with some stuff today. I don't even remember. I was doing some packing, and I was in the middle of something, and I realized way too late that it was almost 3 o'clock. And that's when I've been going live the last few days. So 3 o'clock came and went. I barely noticed it. And I was like, there's no way I can pull together a lot. It takes a while to pull these lives together each day. So, I mean, you might think I just like randomly throw stuff in a bunch and then present them, but I don't. I usually, I try to go with a gut feel of what I think would be good today. I know that's really weird, and I probably do overthinking it. Maybe I would do better if I did just throw things together, but I do really try to, I take my time going through things and thinking about, like, is this something people have been asking for? Is this something I think people who usually watch will be looking for? Do I think this could go with something that somebody has gotten before? There's actually a lot of thought process to the lives, and behind the scenes. And I don't know if y'all notice it or not. When it's a good live day, I feel like I did a good job at kind of instinctually figuring out what you might want, or trying to match things with things that I know you might have, or some of you might have, that I would put this with that. So like I said, some days I feel like I should just pick a bunch of stuff and throw it in a bag and be like, okay, here's what we're doing today. But I really do go through the drawers here. I go through sometimes things are in boxes or in bags, and I go through those and I pull each thing out and I look at it and I think, okay, this might be good today. And a lot of it is kind of instinctual, and sometimes I'm very off. But I do try to tailor it a little bit for all of you who do watch regularly, to try to find things that I think will interest you, and things that you might want to add to your stash. So it does take a while. And so I ran out of time today to do the 3 o'clock. And so I said, okay, let's go back to the late night a little bit, or the evening, not late night, but evening. It does sometimes get late night. But I didn't want to quite go to 7:30, because I'm like, let's start a little bit earlier, because I have been, like last night, I ran a quick little D-stash. I added to our D-stash event, and it was pretty late because I had gone to, my mom let me know about my nephew's baseball game again. So he had a doubleheader last night here in town, and I think that's the last one he's going to have here in town. So I wanted to go watch. And so I went down and watched that. And then I hung out with my mom and dad for a little bit, and we just kind of chatted for a while, which was really good. When Andrew's gone, I don't really have a lot of people that I talk to. I know there are people out there that will talk, but I very rarely reach out. And sometimes it's just good to be able to talk. And even when Andrew's here, like, we talk to each other, but it's always nice to get a different perspective sometimes. And my mom, she worked for small businesses all her life pretty much, and she lived that life kind of. Not necessarily, well, they did. My mom and dad did have a small business for a while. My dad owned a body shop, but my mom has a lot of good input, and my dad as well, just coming from different backgrounds and things that have happened in their lives. And so we just sat and chatted about things, and how things are a little bit difficult right now. And with Andrew away, I'm feeling stressed, and it was just nice to be able to chat. So we really, there were thunderstorms outside, so we sat in the car, in my driveway. She drove me back home, which is really Like I usually walk to the games because it's literally like a 7 to 10 minute walk. But because it was thunderstorming, she drove me back, and we just sat in the driveway probably for an hour and talked. And so um, that was really nice. But that also means that the D-stash that I did last night happened very late. So I'm hoping I started a little bit earlier today in the hopes that because I have about 20 more lots I'm going to add to that D-stash tonight. And I want to start it before it gets too late. Even though people can pick things up through the morning, you know, it's always fun. Just like here when you all comment, it's always more fun in the D-stash when there are more people like actually there during the time that I'm putting stuff up, because I ask questions and we try and reply to each other, and I try and reply to as many people as I can who are active at that moment. A lot of people have replied throughout today, and I've not gotten a chance to reply to everybody back and chat back, but I'll get back into that tonight. But it's kind of more interactive, and it makes it a lot more fun for me, because you know otherwise I feel like we're just selling stuff, and I hate that. We're not a hard sell. I wish I could be more like, okay, I'm just putting it out here for y'all to sell or for y'all to buy. Here it is. But I feel like that's so impersonal, and it's so like not us. So I have a really hard time with just throwing things out into the world, and you know expecting people to buy them without any interaction. Like, and I kind of know that's what the online store is a little bit, but that's also why we went back and made our online store a little bit more personal, um, because you know we just don't feel right just doing that. It's just like these lives. Like I could get right into the selling show and be done in probably an hour, but that doesn't feel right. It's not the way we do things. And you know, I don't know, maybe some people would love that better, but it's not, it doesn't feel right to me. So I like to interact with people in the D-stash group and really kind of chat and hang out. And so I hope that some of y'all will join me over there. And it's oftentimes a different group of people than what's here. There's some crossover, but there's also a different group of people over there. So it's always good. It's always good to hang out with everybody. And we don't do the D-stash group as often as we used to. And so I miss people over there, and trying to get people back into it and trying to get me back into it. So trying to do a little bit more regularly over there as well. Let's see, lots of people have come in. Thank you so much. Angela's here. Anne is here. Hello, Anne. Good to see you. Susie, our neighbor, is here. Thank you for joining us. Susan is here. Harry is here. Kimberly is here. Hello, everybody. Teresa is here. Chris is here. Thank you all so much. Susan says, I like beginning at 7. I start to fade as the night goes on. Yeah, I get that. I fade as the night goes on, because this is a lot of effort. And I like doing it. But I usually start out very strong, usually on a very like hyper sort of note, if you'll notice. And then by the end, sometimes I'm like, all right, everybody, have a great night. Bye now. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. For one, I barely talk most of my day, to be 100% honest. Most of my days are spent by myself in my little shipping area, doing the shipping and packing. Or working on the website or taking pictures. Even when Andrew's here with me, he's usually in the other side and in the studio, and we barely really talk much. And then, so this is a lot of talking for me. I have to talk more robustly than normal, so that the camera picks it up and the sound is good and all that. And that's a lot of effort. It doesn't seem like it, but like, imagine like almost on the verge of kind of what you consider light yelling. And that's what we have to do. So it actually, by the end, sometimes my back hurts, my chest is a little bit sore, but we love doing it, and we like hanging out with you all, and it's really a good time. So yeah, that's been, my whole day has been spent packing, sorting, and I did some invoicing, thanks to all of those of you who grabbed something in the D-stash from last night. And some people have been looking at Andrew's enamel pendants. We only have, I think, 2 of them left now. We had 3. We sold 1 today. So there are only 2 of those decal enamel pendants left. After the D-Stash last night that I posted stuff, I spent about an hour and a half or 2 hours picking out some more artwork of Andrew's to put on more enamel pendants. He left me with a batch of enamel pendants, and I've not gotten them worked up yet. I have them, and I have instructions on how to fire them in the kiln. So I'm going to be putting more of his artwork on more pendants. These ones are going to be a little bit smaller for the most part. He made smaller ones in different shapes. So I'm going to be working on those at some point. I can't guarantee when that will actually happen. Probably sometime next week. And hopefully they fire okay, and hopefully y'all like them. We kind of picked the artwork together for these last ones, and now he didn't really pick much artwork before he left. He gave me some ideas, but I'll be doing that probably next week. But I started picking the artwork and editing it. It has to be edited into black and white and high contrast, and only certain ones will work, and they have to be sized because we only have a limited number of decal sheets that I can make. Before I'd have to buy more, and that's a whole thing. So trying to get it right the first time. Hello, Anna. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, that's more of those enamel pendants will be coming. Hopefully. I cannot guarantee that I'm going to get them right. I'm hoping that when I fire them, they fire okay, but we'll see. I've never done the firing before. I've helped him prep them. I've helped during the class. I've helped class members fire them, but I've never done all the firing myself. So this is going to be new. It's going to be different. We're going to see what's going to happen. I was thinking that I was going to go to pottery tonight, which is another reason I was going to go earlier today. But what ended up happening is my pottery class was canceled. So I just figured I'd do the live a little bit later. Let's see here. Oh, Anna's got the crowns now. You got a crown? It's a new thing they're doing on YouTube. And I don't know that everybody gets crowns. It's, I think, supposed to be for the top followers or top commenters. You get crowns for commenting. It's supposed to help you engage more with our page. That is happening apparently for a lot of people. I haven't gotten it yet. So many people have been talking about these crowns. I still haven't seen them in anything that I watch on YouTube. So I don't know what they look like. But the latest thing I kind of saw was that YouTube was starting to do, it's trying to get you, it's trying to incentivize you to comment, and you get crowns and you get different numbers and you get ranking, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so I think that's what the crowns are. I'm pretty sure, unless that's a totally different thing. But a few people here have seen the crowns, and for a while I think Norma was in #1 place, and but it's a strange thing. But hey, if it gets people to talk, which I hope, that's great, because this is always easier for me and Andrew and anybody doing a live when people actually talk, as long as people are nice, right? But you all are nice. But yeah, it's one of those things that's new on YouTube, and it does, if it helps, like I said, if it helps people talk more, that's great, because this can get, it's a little lonely sometimes on this end when I'm just talking about myself. I don't like talking about myself. That might seem strange, or since I do a lot of talking about myself on these lives, but it's not actually something I'm incredibly 100% comfortable with doing. I do it because sometimes it keeps the flow going, or hopefully it brings out comments from other people. But it's hard to talk about myself because, one, you kind of have to open up a little bit, which I'm an introvert. It's hard for me to do. And two, I never want to upset people, because I know my views and my beliefs are not the same as everyone's out there, right? And you never know when you're going to strike a nerve, something that would, make someone upset or make someone feel bad. And I'm very guarded a lot of times about things that I say or don't say because I'm worried about that. I don't want to upset anyone. I don't, and not, you know, not in like necessarily make someone mad. I don't want to do that either, but I don't want to hurt anyone or make anyone feel less than by things I talk about, right? Um, because I can get it. There's a lot of things in my head. um, Anxiety makes sure of that. And so I do talk about anxiety, and sometimes I worry you know, I know if I listen to things about anxiety, sometimes it makes me sometimes uncomfortable because I start thinking about my own anxiety. And so I always worry that um, if I do talk too much about that, I'm going to trigger someone, and I don't want to do that. But I try to have things that I think I can connect with people, because I think that's the whole thing about all this that we're doing, is trying to connect with people, not just in beads, because that's a great way to connect, but in other ways. We're all human. We're all people. We all have our things. And sometimes it gets lonely, or sometimes we think we're the only ones. And, I have anxiety. I very much think I have depression. The last 2 days were very hard for me. And it usually happens a few days out of every month that I have a really downturn. Um, and I don't talk about that much because I'm not diagnosed, and I don't want to, take anything away from people who are. Um, but I do generally out of every month have about 2 to 4 to 5 days where things just look bad. Like that's about what I can say without getting too far into it. But and then I know it clears up, and I got to ride those days out, and I have to realize that this is happening and it's a thing. Um, and I am working with my new doctor on looking at counseling and therapy and all that good stuff. So we're working on that. But, I know from feeling that things can be lonely sometimes, and things are hard to talk about sometimes. And sometimes if someone else brings it up, it makes it easier to say, hey, me too. And so, like, we never want to go down, the necessarily like any type of trauma rabbit hole around here. We don't want to bring the mood down. I don't try to do that. And I hope that I don't do that too often. But because this is not an exercise in trauma bonding. That's not what we are trying to do. Some businesses work like that. Sometimes they do try to trauma bond with you, and it's a way. It's a way, and sometimes that works. But we would rather spread positivity, and sometimes you talk about things and you help one another, and that helps bring about a more positive environment. And I know that sometimes when I'm feeling down or when I'm feeling anxious and I talk to you all about it, it helps. And it's not meant to trauma bond in any way that it's just continually thinking bad things. It's actually meant to hopefully help, and it usually does. And so anyway, yeah, that's one of those things. That's what hopefully we try to do. But I try not to upset anyone in doing all of that, because I know there are certain things that are triggers for people, and anything can be a trigger for somebody. And knowing that, it's hard to know you're never going to trigger someone, but we try and stay away from too many hot topics like that. Harry's firing his kiln right now with some small things: 3 birds, 2 bulls, and several pendants. Awesome. Nancy says, I would think it's hard to talk to a camera. It is not easy. And that's why I do, like, at least on my screen right up here, I have the number of people who are watching at the moment, and the number of people who have hit the love or the thumbs up, which is only 1 right now. And I think it only counts Facebook. So hit that thumbs up, hit that love, hit that like. So that helps me know at least some people are out there, even if nobody says anything. But if people are commenting, it helps a lot to know that there are people out there. People are engaging with me. I am talking about something that people actually, care to hear, because I can ramble on for a long time. And if there are no comments for a long time, I get very self-conscious that I'm rambling. Have you ever been in a situation where you're meeting someone new, or you're with a group of people and you're telling a story, and the people kind of are like, they're looking at you and they're listening, but nobody's like nodding their head or being like, yep, yep. Nobody's doing anything, and then you get very self-conscious that you're talking too long, and then you try and wrap up your story real quick, and then it doesn't make sense. I don't know if anyone else has ever done that. I have done that. I've been in the middle of a story, like literally the middle, and then I get self-conscious about it, thinking they're listening, but I don't know if they're actually caring what I'm saying. And so I try to speed through it and wrap it up real quick so that I feel better about taking the time talking. And then it's like people are like, what? So yeah, talking to a camera is like that if there isn't feedback. Anna says, haha, I'm the same. I hate talking about me. Yeah, I am not great at talking about, like, sometimes I guess I can talk about me, but I get very self-conscious that people don't really want to hear about me. Like, why does anyone want to hear about me? So yeah, I can go on and on about me because I got, I think a lot of different things throughout a day. An anxious person is never short of thoughts. And so, but does anybody want to hear them? I don't know. I don't know. And just says, you do an amazing job. Thank you. I appreciate it. Terry says, the top 3 commenters get crowns. Nice. I like that. I like that. Teresa says, can't wait to see everything, Harry. Harry says, Teresa, these are like tests for new glaze combos. Nice. I kind of do tests. And our instructor, our teacher, she has little things that we like, pieces of things that we can use if we want to do glaze tests. I just test on my own things and then hope they come out good. I have no idea how mine came out this time because I wasn't there this week. So I'll probably be going maybe twice next week to pottery. So we might do some early afternoons next week a few times. Anne says, I agree, William. Talking about things like anxiety and depression, which I think are quite common, normalizes them and makes people feel less alone. I hope so. I think it helps me, and I hope it helps other people, because a lot of times, especially when Andrew's not here, if I go through a bad time, which like the last 2 days, I'm glad my mom and dad were around that I could kind of verbal diarrhea to, but sometimes it gets very, very lonely and things look bleak. And so I think just having people out there and just bringing topics up sometimes helps a lot. And says, I'm so in love with your stars and moon bowl that I got, Harry. Thank you for getting it, Anne. Anna says, you were so wise, William. I don't know about that, but thank you. Being honest about things does make other people feel safe with you all. I hope. Like I said, I never want to trauma bond. That's a whole thing. And that's a whole big thing that some people do. And you probably know people who are always having a rough time, or else maybe not always having a rough time, but the only thing they tend to talk about is the rough time. And, we're very honest if things are slow or if we're having a rough time. But we try not to make that like the personality of the store, the personality of, the lives, the personality of us. We could very easily do that. But we've tried very hard not to. And we try to talk about things in a way that hopefully it's a helpful way instead of just a commiserating things are terrible kind of way. And that's and it's hard because there are things going on in the world that are difficult, and that you could easily just go down, the rabbit hole of commiserating about how terrible they are. And we all get sucked into that, I think, from time to time. Um, and, we try to be very careful though here that if things do go kind of that way, we try and pick it up or try to spin it in some positive way. And I always worry that spinning it in a positive way makes it sound like we don't care. But it's really not that. It's really that I've talked about this the other day, how putting your thoughts and your verbal energy and just your energy in general into the same thing over and over, if it's bad, you're not going to help it. You're only going to perpetuate it. And so, um, we're not trying to take away from the fact that these things are bad. When we try to, switch subjects or look at it in a different way, we're just trying to, try to find a way to pull ourselves into a better, thought process. And yeah, and that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say I hope that like we don't want to trauma bond. We don't want to just be the channel you turn on so that you can complain about what's going on. That's not, you know, we probably honestly that kind of energy oftentimes attracts a lot more people, and we would probably have a larger audience watching if that were the case. But that's not what we want. And that I don't think leads to good creativity and thinking in creative ways and making beautiful things. And I know for me, it would only worsen my anxiety and depression. So if at any moment, you're talking about something and I try to, bring it into a different spin or think about it in a different way or try to find some positive aspect, it's not that I'm trying to diminish your feelings on it or diminish your or the severity that you feel about it. It's just that for me, I try to keep my headspace as good as I can. And I think it's something that I do for my self-preservation. And I also, like I said, I don't want to turn into the channel that people watch to jump online and complain about stuff. I would rather people jump online and say, hey, these are the beautiful things I made today, like Harry does, and a lot of you do. I would rather people say, hey, I made this, and you can see it in the Design Challenges group. I'll post it later. That's what we would love to do. But, we have to also be real, and we do talk about things that are happening in the world from time to time, and that's okay too. Anyway, I'm going on a long, I got to catch up on some comments. Susie says, I'm always hitting the heart button. Thank you. Thank you. I saw somebody did. Thank you. Anna says, talking to the void seems very stressful to me. You are very good at it. Thank you. I really get self-conscious when I'm talking a lot and people aren't talking back because I don't know. Because I can watch the numbers fluctuate. Like right now we have 13. We just had 18 a little while ago. I'm like, and as I'm talking, the numbers drop. And I'm like, did I say something that just made people tune out? Like it just dropped to 11. Did I just say something that made people tune out? And so I always get concerned about that. So the numbers are good to a point. I know there are people out there, but watching them fluctuate is very nerve-wracking when you're anxious, when you're an anxious person. I should just be like, I don't care. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But I'm not like that. I'm always like, did I just say something that now, 7 people have dropped off? But I also know the numbers drop, I believe, when people go a little dormant. So I know whenever you all are watching and you don't interact for a while, I think those numbers drop too. Because if we get into a point where people are starting to comment a lot more again, I see the numbers quickly go up. And it's probably not new people joining in. It's just people getting back into it again. And so that's one of those things. When I know I'm talking a lot and not answering comments or talking about what you're saying, sometimes people go kind of dormant. Anne says, I have to give presentations at work that are required. I try to jazz it up by being a bit silly. How much depends on my mood. And it is nice when people laugh or respond. Yeah, it's so much easier. And the only way we have to respond on here is you commenting. Otherwise, I'm just talking to a camera. And so that's why I probably ask a lot of you all to comment and keep comments coming, because it really does. It's just that it's that acknowledgement that you're still there and you're still listening. Like even when we're showing things, if I'm showing things for a while, and nobody's commenting like, oh, that's a nice gemstone, or that's a nice cut, or very pretty, or anything, then I start to like, I'm like, are people like looking at all, watching at all? So it's always difficult like that. Susan says, I only get crowns if I'm on my laptop. Huh, maybe that's why, because I don't think I've watched YouTube on my laptop for some time. Hello, Norma. Thanks for joining us. I don't know how long ago you joined us, but thank you. Oh, about 8 minutes ago, it looks like. Thank you for joining us. I've been rattling on. Let's see here. Harry says, I used to teach astronomy at our local observatory. I lectured many a Saturday night. I missed that. When I was a substitute teacher in junior high and high school, it was like talking to a wall. I can imagine. I honestly was a teacher's pet for the most part, for most of my teachers. But one, it was because I generally liked school for the most part. I liked learning. I also liked that positive attention. I can't lie. But, and things came pretty easily to me. So I didn't have that fear of like looking stupid very often, and I know a lot of people do, but a lot of stuff came easily to me. So I was one of those people that was always trying to participate and kind of nod my head to the teachers, like, because I would look around and watch like teachers get these blank stares, or kids are just heads are down and the teacher's teaching up there, and I always felt bad. So I would always like try to be like, yeah, and nod or like raise my hand if it was a question or something, but always just to let people know. And I do that with pretty much any presentation we go to. If we go to a presentation somewhere, even if it is, honestly boring to me, I will still do my best to like keep my eyes on the presenter and nod every once in a while, or, clap if it's appropriate or whatever, just because I know how hard it is to be up there or to be the presenter and not know if anyone is getting the information or not. And it says, people who trauma bond tend to have not done any work to heal themselves. It's true. I have noticed that too. They would rather, and that's just, it's, there are a lot of things about that, and there's a lot of talk about manifestation, a lot of talk about looking on the positive, manifesting positive things, but just the things that what they say, that wire together, fire together, fire together, wire together. If you get yourself into that momentum of trauma bonding or thinking only negative thoughts, your brain will start to do that, and it's sometimes hard to do that work to pull yourself out of that. And sometimes, of course, it is depression and it is other things that are imbalances and all that. But it is also a way of thinking, and in some cases, and sometimes it's the way two people interact, and that's just your interaction with one another, right? When you get with this certain person, you're going to have a a B fest, right? As they say. I don't want to say it, but you're going to get together and just do the bad speak, just talk about all the things that are wrong, because that's what you and that person do. And that's hard, because that's entrained then in your relationship. And Do you want to continue a relationship with that person? Do you want to do the work to pull you and that other person out? It's hard. It's very hard. I've had friends like that, and we tend to drift apart, especially when I'm trying to do the work on myself, because I can't do that. I can't deal with that energy. And I know that I can't also pull them out of that. Because sometimes I've tried, and sometimes I just don't have the energy to try. Let's see here. Kimberly says, I do that, William. I try to find the positive in every situation. Yeah, I'm not great at it. For a long time, I believed I was a pessimist, and then I believed I was a realist, and I would say I'm a realist. I'm just looking at things as they are, but those things as they are always tended to be on a little bit on the depressing side. Most people, I think, who call themselves a realist tend to be on the pessimistic side of things, I find. And so it was very hard for me, and it is still hard for me not to go down that route, but I've been trying very hard lately in, thinking better thoughts and trying to wire and fire better ways of thinking and better ways of looking at things that make me happier. Because I don't like that pit of your stomach feeling about things you get when you look at bad things and when you there I am. There I'm back. That was my mom was trying to call. I need to make sure. One moment, everybody. Sorry, it's very rare that she would try and call in the middle of a live. So I'm just going to message her to see if everything's okay. Harry's Got to Go Supper is on. See you, Harry. Thank you for joining us. Anne says, I suspect it is more about what else is going on than anything you say. Sometimes I drop if my sister calls or I have to get ready for work or whatever. That's true. And I know that. Let's see here. It's true. People drop for lots of different reasons. Teresa gets crowns on her phone. Anna says, I'm on my phone and usually am, but I never saw the crowns until tonight. Anne says, I was a good student, but painfully shy. I hated when teachers brought attention to me. When I was very young, my mom had to tell one to stop. I'm surprised they couldn't tell on their own. Some people are, very, they don't take cues well, right? I wasn't that shy in general, I guess. I was very shy, but because I was good in school, teachers liked me and that helped. So I was less shy about a lot of things like that. And so there's that Mercury retrograde. So I hope everything's okay too. I don't know if she just butt dialed because she is not replying to my message either. And I think I'm on Do Not Disturb, which means she would have had to try to call twice to break through, I think. So that's what I'm concerned about. Kimberly says, but you recognize the need to find the positive and you are trying to be more mindful, and that is positive. I am trying. I am trying. Danette says, hi, everyone. Just dropping in to say hi. Probably will lurk. Thank you for lurking. Kimberly says, I usually take you with me when I'm cooking dinner. LOL. Thank you. I appreciate it. Teresa says, I skipped 2 grades in high school, so I was always picked on for being the youngest and one of the smartest of the class. Well, that's incredible. But I can understand how that was probably very hard. Yeah, wow. I think there was one person that skipped grades in the school where I was, and it was hard. Um, it was hard for them. It was very hard for them. And it says, William, why don't you call your mom? You won't worry once you know. I know, I just don't know why. Okay. I'm going to go and come right back. All right. I'll be right back. Let me just put up the banner um, because I need to find out if I can find it. There it is. Okay, I'm back. Um, she's not picking up, so I'm guessing it was a butt dial, maybe. Um, I don't know. Um, okay, she just messaged me back. It was a butt dial. Okay. Um, good. All right. Thank you all for waiting. That makes me feel better because that it was very odd that she would have tried to call me at this time of the day. Susan says, I skipped first grade and it was hard being the youngest and awful when I went away to college. That I can't even imagine. Like, kids are mean a lot of times. And not only then, I guess you would have been younger in college and in every grade up until that point. And, you know, kids are not kind generally to other kids who are smart. And I mean, either way, smart people who have learning disabilities or learning issues, kids can be mean for just about any reason. So I'm sorry that some of you had to go through that. So I'm glad you checked it out. Nothing worse than worrying and not knowing. I know it would have been hard for me to you could tell my concentration was off at that point. But yeah, so anyway, everything looks good. She's good. Everything's good. She's out shopping with the kids, so that's a good thing. Anna says, I would give anything to be able to have my mom call me, so take the time you need. Thank you. Yeah, I know I'm very lucky to still have my mom around, and we have a very good relationship, and we generally always have. You know, she has never been, and when we were young, like she was never a mom, like she didn't hit, she didn't really yell much. She you know, she'd get the stern talk sometimes, and we knew that meant business. Like we didn't have to, my brother and I, we didn't do a lot of talking back. We didn't do a lot of, and I think a lot of that came from, we just, you know, we respected her and we knew that things were hard enough most of the time. So we tried not to do too much of that. You know, as kids, you get mouthy sometimes anyway. That's just what kids do. But I can't ever actually remember not a single time like arguing with my mom. We just didn't do that. And I don't know if that's healthy or not. Maybe kids are supposed to do that once in a while. But we just didn't have like the argumentative fights like that. So it's always been a good relationship. And you know, as time has gone on, you know, we see each other, you know, as mother and son, but also as people and adults. And she's always treated us like that and let us make our own choices for the most part, and, you know, issue the motherly warnings and things like that. But she's always been very, very much, she looked at us like adults, and she did the best she could to prepare us for the world. And when we went out into it, like when I went to college, you know, she didn't give me big talks about college or going away or anything like that. She just, knowing how we grew up and what my dad got into and what we saw, she just said, you know, the whole like trying drugs and all that, knowing kids are going to college and what they might get into. All she ever said is, you saw what it can do, and I trust you to, you know, do, you know, to take that into consideration. And so that was kind of, you know, her way of letting us go, but also like reminding us, you know, these things can be bad. Let's see here. Terry says, I entered college as a junior. I did my first 2 years in my junior and senior year in high school. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Anna says, I did not have a perfect mom, but there was dysfunction, but she was my mom and I miss her presence. That's, you know, that's, I can get that in just right now with seeing that with some of my grandparents, since they have all passed. And like my one grandfather, he was a rough person. he was very religious. He was not great to his kids. There's a lot of trauma there, and a lot that has been passed down through generations, maybe passed to him, maybe started with him. I don't know. I don't know what his parents were like. But uh, at the same point, for the most part, he was a pretty good grandfather, and we saw certain things sometimes, but um, it was a difficult thing. And I try to look back on the good times, but I also see what was caused through the family lineage and things that have been passed down that I see coming directly from him. And so it is hard. It is hard. But would it be nice to see him playing his mandolin again, and playing and singing bluegrass with his friends? Yeah, that would be nice. So it's difficult, and I'm very lucky to have my parents both, and we get along now. My dad and I get along really well, and things have been mended, and things have progressed to a better place. Susan says, William, glad things are well with your mom. Mine has been gone for almost 30 years. My dad has been gone for 15, and my brother in early 2009. That's a hard one too. Like my brother and I, we don't talk often, which seems strange because we don't live far away, and we do get along. It's we get along when we see each other, and I get along with his wife, my sister-in-law, and the kids. But it's like we don't message each other a lot. We don't, when we see each other, we're there and we talk and we chat and we hang out. But yeah, it's sometimes strange. But still, if he weren't there, that would be a very strange thing. Yeah, because we grew up like taking care of each other for the most part. I was not the greatest big brother because I always felt like I had to be, kind of in control when, my mom was working during the day. We came home and we were Gen X. So we came home and we played outside by ourselves. We did things in the house by ourselves. We watched each other. And, for a long time, it was just pretty much me and him. And I sometimes overdid it, I think, on trying to be the big brother and being, a little too stern and trying to, boss him around and things like that. And, but it was just us for a long time. And we got along for the most part pretty well. And then as things changed for me, as I got vitiligo, I couldn't go outside as much and play. I couldn't, and then dealing with being gay and not knowing how everyone would respond to that. I think that's when things started to just change. Like, we didn't hang out as much. We didn't do as much together. He also got into sports a lot more. And I got out of them. Like, I wasn't into them, but we would play sometimes basketball at the house or badminton, not badminton. Just lost it. Anyway, hit the ball against the wall. We do that against the back of the garage and stuff like that. And we'd even play baseball and do stuff. But once I couldn't be outside much anymore, I kind of changed to be more academic, which I always was, but I really pushed that hard. And so we kind of, it was not racquetball. Thank you, Anna. It was not the same between us, and I think that kind of started the where we didn't talk as much, but we get along and we help each other when we need to, and we still care about each other. And so I'm going to cry now. I know the emotion you all have. Don't cry or cry, whatever works, whatever you need to do. Susan says, even as adults and certainly as kids, people can be brutal. Yeah, some people don't learn, right? Some people don't learn. I know this from personal experience, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Sending hugs out to y'all out there, because I know people can be rough, right? Amanda said, I lost my parents way too young. At least I was an adult. Yeah, I'm very thankful to have mine. Teresa says, my mom passed 35 years ago from breast cancer. My oldest daughter died 7 years ago from suicide. I remember that's a hard thing. I remember you talking about some of that sometimes. And I'm sorry, that's hard. Let's see, everybody's saying sorry, sending their condolences to people. We appreciate that out there. Susan says, even though we fought like cats and dogs, I idolized my big brother. I still do. Very proud of his accomplishments at NASA, including JWST. Susan's sister died of breast cancer. I've had 2 herself. It's hard. It's hard. I've had some family members who have dealt with that, and it's hard. Kimberly says, I'm still grieving my mom. We lost her, on January 4th, 2023. It's hard. I do not look forward to, some people, I have friends who they do not get along with their parents, and they're not even, they're pretty much not family anymore. They just don't. But I've never been like that with my family, and my family is all pretty close. I'm not as close with some of my cousins and stuff as I used to be. We've just kind of grown apart, and it's weird because we all live kind of close, but mostly it's because I'm busy. I'm very busy, and I do not have a lot of time. I should make more time, but it's really hard when you're trying to make sure you have food on the table and food for your cats. It's hard to make time to do things. But that's the life we're leading, and hopefully it gets a little bit easier. That's one of those things I was talking with my mom and dad about last night. It's like it wouldn't take much for things to be just a little bit easier, but we're working on it. People are asking what's the JWST. James Webb Satellite Telescope. Oh, the Webb Telescope. Nice. Anna says, you never really get over some losses. You just learn to go along and live. I think that's true, right? Karen says, I don't wish this pain on anyone. I know how it is supposed to be, but my mom was my best friend. Yeah, it's like I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Because, yeah, my mom is one of the few people I talk with pretty regularly. Because like I said, Andrew and I we talk to you all on here, but as far as having interactions with people, we don't have a huge group of friends that we hang out with. We don't go out to eat with people every weekend, we don't do that kind of thing. And so my family, my mom, my aunt, used to be my grandmother, we were the ones that, kept each other going, and we, and it's hard thinking about that. And I'm sure it's very difficult going through that. So my, my hugs and good energy out to you, because I know that's hard. Never too old to feel orphaned with the loss of parents. That's, Chris said, that's what my mom, when her parents, she says, now we're orphans, right? And, she's in her 60s, and it's weird to hear that about, but that's how it would feel, right? I mean, that's the way it is. Kim says, oh, for sure, it's hard some days just not to be able to pick up the phone and talk to her. She was only 67. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah. I don't like to think about that, because that's pretty much right around where my mom is. Kimberly's Anna says, Kimberly, you make rituals to honor your mom, things that make you connected with her in spirit, right? I think we do that with all of our losses, right? That's you just try and connect with them, whether it's people, whether it's pets we're close to. We try and have rituals. Like, we still light a candle very often for Paolo and Babette. We have a little stand with their little shrine with some of their things on it, and most evenings we have little oils we put on the candle, and we light the candle and give them little kisses. I think we all have ways of, bringing people into memory and keeping people in memory. And I believe they're still out there. I believe that the energy is still there. I don't think that, I don't call it a soul necessarily, but I think there's a part of us that, inhabits these bodies for a while, but then goes on. And so I do believe that they are still out there in some way. And I do believe it's worth talking to them and conversing with them. I wish they could talk back, but I am not a medium, and I do not generally hear. I generally do not hear them talking back to me. I try and look out for signs when I can. I'm not great at that. Some people get a lot of signs from people, and they understand those signs. I'm not. I'm a little oblivious, I think, sometimes. I always think that my grandmother and grandfather are probably out there like shouting at me, and I'm not getting it. But yeah, I do believe that's a thing. Amanda says, I've outlived my mom by a year now. So weird. That would be a weird feeling. Kimberly says, we beaded together, so I feel connected to her when I bead. That's nice. That's really nice. Anna says, I talk to my mom some days and talk to my pets even more often, right? I do too. I talk to my pets a lot. Anne says, my dad will be 90 next month. He has developed dementia in the last years. It's hard. That's really hard, right? My whole family, we've been pretty good that way. My grandmother got hospital dementia, or I forget what they call it, if that's what they call it. Sometimes when you're in the hospital too long, some people start getting dementia, and then when they leave the hospital, they're fine. My grandmother was getting like that when she was in and out of the hospitals a lot. And that was hard. I can't imagine actually with Alzheimer's or dementia full time. It would be so hard. And yeah, I just, I don't know what that's like being the person who has it, but I know it's very hard on the people who are around, the family members. I don't know if people are suffering when they have it, or if they're just content with whatever they believe or whatever they remember or don't remember. I don't know what that's like, and I can't speak for that. I don't think anybody can, but it's not something that is easy to go through, and I don't think I would. I'm like, please don't let that happen to me. Sue says, one good thing about today, it's the second anniversary of Smokey Cat's return from his great adventure. I talked to him today, and he just looked very puzzled. I bet. That's good. That was a good day. Let's see here. Oops, I'm way behind. Anne says it was a good day. That's beautiful. Kimberly, you were beating with her, says Anna. I like to tell Daniel Tagger, Anne says, about his sister Moo Kitty. Yeah, we talk about the ancestors a lot. The girls never knew Paolo and Babette, but the boys did. And we talk about that, and we talk about the ancestors and how they're watching and they're teaching. I feel connection with my mama when I cook and bake, says Teresa. Nice. I just made a bunch of stretch bracelets with some of her beads, so I'm in my feels. Boy, and this is how this conversation came all around to this. Sometimes we have to do that, right? Sometimes we're all on the same wavelength. I believe that the synchronicities that happen sometimes, and how we lead into topics together, and like my mom calls, and then I have to make sure she's okay, and then we start talking about mothers, and it's sometimes things are meant to happen. Yeah, I believe that. Let's see here. Oops. Comments are jumping. I hope I'm not missing too many comments. I know some of you are just talking back and forth. Anne says, my dad is aware of it in many ways. It's sad for him, and some symptoms are scary for him. Yeah, I don't like that. That's so, it's scary to think about when we are cognizant of, ourselves, and it's just scary to to feel like you're going to lose yourself. And then I've had some people say that, people who come in and out of it a little bit, it doesn't really, they're kind of living, I think it's mostly Alzheimer's. They're living like in a different time, and they're okay with that. They don't even realize. And so, in some ways, sometimes I guess it can be easier on people, but I think dementia is a hard one. Let's see here. Susan says, we honestly believe that Phil Cat is our first cat, Boots returning to us. See, and I go back and forth. I'm like, Paolo could come back. Like what? But then again, I'm like, I want everybody to be themselves. Like, but if they want to come back, they can come back too. that's okay. If I had a little pillow buddy again, that would be okay. If my pillow buddy came back. Paolo used to sleep on my pillow with me. He would put half of his little head and his body on the pillow, and he'd sit in front of me usually, and I'd face him and put my head on the pillow, and we'd fall asleep together like that. I do miss that. Full circle or the medicine wheel, right? Both Phil and Boots were found in a barn in western St. Charles County, Missouri. When we brought Phil home, the first toy he reached for was Boots' favorite toy bug. That's cute. That's cute. That might, giving a way to show that I'm back, right? And it says, I have a tile with Moo Kitty on the wall above chest where I have mementos like her fur and paw print. Daniel gets up there and looks around like he sees something. I always think it's Moo Kitty's spirit. I believe that like I said, I believe when people pass, their spirits are still around, and animals the same. I believe that, like I said, I don't usually say soul because I'm not just generally a religious person, so I don't believe in it that same way, or I don't like to have that connotation for people who aren't religious, but I do believe there's an aspect of us that continues on, and can come through if they want to. But I unfortunately have never had the medium type experience from anybody that's passed that I've known. And I kind of, I don't know, it would probably freak me out a little bit if that did happen, but I kind of wish that I had that ability. Because I know sometimes you can't always pick who comes through, and that's not great. But I think it would be interesting to have that ability. Teresa says, my little kitten sleeps on my pillow with me. Nice, that's cute. Susan says, I do genealogy. When I hit a wall finding out information, I get very frustrated with the ancestors. Okay, Ignatz and Patrick are going to hide from me today. Nice. Susan says, my cat Tally thought he was my boyfriend and used to like to sleep in bed with my arm around him. He was a real caretaker, and I miss him so much. That's cute. That's cute. Anna says, I believe he does see her or her energy, right? I think so. Susan, I did not know you did genealogy. Me too, started in high school. See, I didn't know that about people. How do I not know these things? How do we talk like every day and not know some of these things about each other? How does that actually happen? Susan also says, on the first days after arriving, Phil squeaked at us when we mentioned boots. See? Very possible. I believe in it. I believe it could be. He wanted to spend, well, she wanted to spend more time, right? That's what, whoops. Oh, my screen just jumped. Sorry. Sometimes I think, they make the choice to spend more time with you in some ways. Or, and I also, part of me also believes that there is a kind of, I think we sometimes have, I don't know what you want to call them, soulmates, for lack of a better term, maybe. I think that sometimes we come back and interact with each other over and over and over again. We don't remember it necessarily, but I think sometimes we choose to come back with the same souls or the same energy or the same spirits that we had been with before. And I think that's why sometimes in life we have people that we find, or animals that we find, that are super close to us, and they're just like automatically like we're already there, we're together. And I think that's because some of us do come around again, and we hang out, and just like friends groups, but it's through various lifetimes. And some people don't believe in all of that. I do. I think that we find each other again, and we decide to come back together and hang out sometimes. I think that, it's hard to believe that it doesn't happen, because sometimes you just find people or animals in your life that are just like instant connections. And why would that happen? Why? Like, especially between people and animals, like, why would there be such an instant connection sometimes? Cameron says, because when we talk about random topics, we find out something new. I know, right? I like it. I like it. All right, but I should get to showing you some beads, because I have to try to make a little bit of money, keep the bank account from going negative tomorrow. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at some things. All right, we've been chatting a long time, and I've enjoyed this conversation, but I should get moving on showing you all some stuff. Teresa says, I believe that too. Yeah, I think so. I think we find each other again, and that gives me comfort, because I was very, very close with my grandmother, and it was always that way. Like, I look back at pictures of my grandmother holding me when I was a baby, and it just always felt like we had a connection, even like I can see it, even though I don't remember that time because I was too young, but I can just see it, and it's always been like that. All right. Okay. Now that we did the deep talk, it's nice to do the deep talk. I like the deep talk. I've told you before, I have a really hard time with like small talk, and so I prefer, if I'm going to talk, to get into deep conversations, which is good most of the time. Okay, what letters should I use? What letters have I not used before? Let's see. I don't think I've ever done that. So we're going to do FRW. It doesn't mean anything, just happens to be the letters that I came to my brain. FRW. Here's the banner. If you don't know how to claim, if you're new here, to purchase from this video, take down the lot number, which is going to be an FRW number. Put that in the subject line of an email, and send that email to info@allegorygallery.com. You can only claim by email. We do not accept claims via comments. There are very particular reasons for that. I won't go into all of them today, but just know we only take claims via email. So get your emails ready. info@allegorygallery.com. Get ready to throw that in the subject line and hit send. You can send one email at the very end if you want, or you can send an email per item. I do recommend sending an email per item, for the best chance to get things. If you do send an email and you do get it, we're going to ask you that you pay for it. You can't send an email for everything and then say, I didn't want everything. I just want that one thing. Please don't do that to us. These were 15. I'm going to drop them down to 12 for you all today. We had some really nice, if you missed it yesterday, we had some really nice black spinel. I think 4mm and 2.5mm faceted rounds. So today I have some smoky quartz for y'all in the faceted. These are actually kind of faceted bicones. These are more faceted bicones. But we had some nice black spinel for those of you who were looking for black spinel. I found a cache of it. So I had black spinel in rounds. I think they were 4mm and 2.5mm, and then we had black spinel in squares, those little square cut beads that we sometimes have. And I think I have some square cuts today. I'll show you those, but they're in prehnite today. So these are beautiful smoky quartz, very nice quality stones. These are generally about 13 to 14 inch strands. That's about a 13-inch strand, and this smoky quartz is 3mm. So that's FRW1, $12 a strand, 8 strands available. So this is the price per strand. This is the number we have available. And that's FRW1. And I'll leave these out for a little bit like we have been doing so that you can see them. FRW2. Let's see what else I've got in here. FRW2. These are $1.50 each. I've got 5 of them available. Let's see if I can get them out of the bag. These are vintage freshwater pearl crosses. So vintage freshwater pearl crosses, and they are drilled top to bottom. They're $1.50 each. They measure approximately, well, if I can get this right, about 8mm by 13mm. There are 5 of them, $1.50 each, vintage freshwater pearl crosses. I love those. I think they're so nice. And if you do any type of religious jewelry, they can be a really nice addition. It's FRW2. Let's see here, FRW3. I've been doing a few little spooky season things lately, and I found these. FRW3. These are a little set of spooky season buttons. So they're vintage plastic. You get the laughing skull button. You get 3 of these little ghost buttons. You get the spider button, and you get the sparkly pumpkin button. And they're $3. FRW3. FRW4. All right. These are porcelain pendants by Andrew. 4-leaf clover porcelain pendants. They are $8 each, and there are 2 of them available. FRW4. Student says, that's right, spooky season is on the horizon. I know, and I'm trying to get it out early enough so that even I can get it out shipped to y'all before then. I'm working on my shipping. strategies in getting things together, but I know myself, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting them out way early enough that you'll definitely have them in time. Because, you know, I'm not, I'm cognizant of my ways. Let's see here. FRW5. This is a pendant from Harry Wood. Artisan ceramic pendant, FRW5, of this cat. This cat. Isn't that cute? I love it. I think it's super duper cute. What do y'all think? And this is approximately 31 by 50 millimeters. 31 by 50 millimeters. And says, I'm cognizant of my ways too, so I know it doesn't matter if I get it in time because I won't use it for 2 years anyway, usually. Well, that makes me feel better about sometimes getting things out later than I want to. There we go. Super cute cat pendant. It is a pendant there. Right there's the bail. And says, I have a similar cat from Harry. It's on my table for a planned necklace. Nice. Nice. I know some of y'all have those cat pendants, but just in case you haven't gotten one yet, there we go. There we go. All right. Let me start putting some of this away because I'm running out of room. So this is the Smoky Quartz, FRW1, still available. These are the vintage pearl crosses, vintage freshwater pearl crosses, FRW2. Move that over there. Teresa's mommy and baby, so cute. Yeah, actually, I forgot about that, right? It's a baby down there, too. Mommy and baby cat. Thanks for pointing that out because I forgot to mention that. It's not just a cat. There are 2 cats in there. 2 cats in that pendant. Okay, let me move these over. Whoa, they're grabbing on. Oh, and I didn't give you the size on these. This is 24 millimeters. 24 millimeters on those. And it says, oh, cute, mine doesn't have a baby. Yeah, I think this is the only one we had that had the baby on it, if I remember. Super cute. Okay. FRW6. How many of these do I have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got 11 of these. 11 of these. This is Morganite. We had this at 15 also. I'm going to drop it down to 12 for y'all. Morganite. Faceted rounds. Actually, faceted rondelles. Beautiful Morganite. It's more pink in person than it looks on screen because pink usually doesn't come across very well. But beautiful Morganite, faceted rondelles, 3 millimeters, micro-faceted, 11 strands available, only $12 a strand. And since I used a pendant like FR4 or FRW4 in a necklace that came up in my memories today, I was like, that's pretty cute. I like it when things come up that we did and we're like, oh, I actually did a good job on that, right? Andrew does that sometimes too. Like, oh, who did that? Oh, me? Nice. FRW7. Even and I haven't been doing pottery that long, but even I've looked back at some of the pictures of my pottery and realized that I was like, oh, I did that? I don't remember making that piece. All right. This is a sterling silver unicorn charm. I've only got one left. Sterling silver unicorn charm with a heart cut out. Only $7. One available. At first I thought it was a horse, and then I realized it's a unicorn. Even better. And I love that little heart cutout. Sterling silver, $7 only. One available. Again, these are old prices for these little sterling charms that we've been showing the last few times. And it is, these are old prices. They would be more now, if we could even still get this same. I don't know if they even carry some of these same designs. Oh, good. We've sold FRW, one of the 6s. Thank you so much. We've sold the 7 multiple times, but I've only got 1. I wish I had more, believe me. But I've only got 1, but thank you so much for that. That makes me feel a little better. Oh, we tried to sell 7 again. Sorry, it is sold out, my friends. These were 28 a strand. I'm going to go to 20. Let's just do 20. What the heck? Let's do 20 a strand. Okay, let me pick some of these up. Ooh. And remember, I never say if you've got something unless you ask me, but if you do want to know, I can let you know if you've got it. You know, that's helpful sometimes for budgeting reasons, but we don't ever shout out loud because it's nobody's business unless you want to allow it to be other people's business. Okay, let's move that. We've got the Morganite here. I love that Morganite. I love Morganite. It's such a pretty color. All right, next thing. This is the lowest price I think we've ever done on these pearls. We had them at 28, which I think was a good price anyway. And then at one point, I think we dropped them to 23. And now I'm dropping it to 20. That's the lowest price we're going to do. These are these, I love these pearls. These kind of elongated, I call them like a wire wrapped pearl. They look like they've been wrapped in wire. And then the wire's been nacred over. But I think they're so cool. And these are these like soft green color. Kim says, love that color. These, I love this color too. It's so minty. And it looks really pretty with the Morganite. That kind of soft mint green with the pink. Love, love, love those together. So I've got 3 strands of those available, dropping them all the way to $20. Generally, they are around 9 millimeters by 18. 9 by 18 millimeters. And I love this kind of seafoam green. It's just so nice. And I don't know why. We have a hard time selling those pearls. But they are honestly my favorite pearls that we've ever had. But nobody seems to ever want them. And I don't understand it because I think they're amazing. Yeah, like I love the faceted pearls we get sometimes, the vintage faceted pearls. But the faceted pearls and these are like very close ties for first in what I love. And that's just my style right there. I love, love, love those. FRW9. Okay. What do we have here? What do I have here? These are nice. These were 14. Let's drop them to 10 for you all. I've only got one strand of them. Chris says they're beautiful. The pearls, I think so. I think they're so lovely. But again, nobody wants them. And that's okay. Chris says, I'm just broke till tomorrow. You can pay tomorrow. That's okay. It's all right. We'll send you an invoice. I know that some of y'all have, it's probably payday for some tomorrow. So we're okay with that. It's just a day late. It's not a big deal. Oh, we've just sold 2 of the 8s. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Yeah, they deserve to be sold, I think. This is malachite. This is malachite. And these are rounds coming in at 5 millimeters. 5 millimeter malachite rounds. Anne says, I almost always pay the next day because I'm in bed by the time the invoices come out. Yeah, it's 100% true, right? No problem. No problem. Kim says, if I sold my pie, what's that mean? Susie says, I'll take them. Thank you. Pearls are my favorite. Mine, I love pearls too. So this is FRW9, $10 only for the malachite rounds. All right. FRW10. Yeah, you know, like, oh, I don't sell my jewelry or I would buy more, says Kim. I get it. I get it. We totally understand, and we are thankful for every bit of support. If you know somebody who likes to buy beads for their jewelry, please make sure you tag us. Let them know. Tell them about us. It means the world to us when you all suggest us to people, because word of mouth is the best advertising ever, I think. If somebody tells me about a business and how they had a good time and they have good stuff, I am there. That's how I prefer to find out about businesses that I love. These are vintage freshwater dyed pearls, these little pearls in this beautiful kind of deep magenta. We've had some lighter magentas, I think, here recently. This is a deeper one. FRW10, only $8 for this strand. Chris says, what? Okay, what's the email? It's info@allegorygallery.com. It's right up here. It's also scrolling down here. Let me put up so you can see it bigger for a little bit here. There it is, because that's sometimes hard to read. Info@allegorygallery.com. Just put the FR in the subject line and hit send. And then if you are new or you never bought from us before, please make sure you send us your shipping address in the email as well. We only need you to put that in one email just so we have it. Okay, and these little pearls are 3.5 millimeters. 3.5 millimeter vintage freshwater pearls, FRW10, $8. And says, Kim, I hear you. I only sell twice a year for a charity auction, but I have a need to make. I have so much jewelry in my house, right? Sometimes you just have that need to make stuff. I know that. I get that feeling. Andrew definitely gets that feeling. I get that feeling, but sometimes my need to make stuff is like doing the website or making social media posts. Like, I do like that kind of stuff too. So sometimes my need to make is more virtual than others. And I'm going to make sure I check junk mail today, because my email, as I talked about at the beginning of this show, has been all over the place today. So I'm hoping I'm going to get everybody's email okay. because it has been a Mercury retrograde kind of day. Look at these greens together, though. Ooh, look at those. Isn't that pretty? You know I love green. You know, if you know me, if you've watched us at all, you know I love green. And I love all the combinations of green. Kim says, I agree. It helps so much to be creative, right? Same with me, Anne, says Amanda. I have boxes upon boxes of finished jewelry. And Amanda says, yes, Kim, I enjoy making. Yeah, why don't you? I don't know. If I had boxes and boxes of jewelry that I made, I would probably, but I'm somebody who, like, I kind of like to sell stuff. So, like, we don't do the hard sale, but I like to sell stuff. So, I think I think I would just have a little store anyway. I think that's just what I would do. And if you ever need help setting up a little online store, you know where to go. We can help you with that. Nora says, I don't sell either, but I need to create, and everyone gets birthday and jewelry from me, like it or not. Anne says, sometimes I wish my creative need could be fed by cleaning my house. Oh, you aren't kidding, Anne. You aren't kidding about that. Because sometimes our house, I feel like, is a disaster zone. Because that does not feed the need to do anything. Even the need to be organized sometimes doesn't isn't big enough for me to want to clean the house. Susan says, I don't like to sell either. I would rather just create. Yeah, sometimes people do. Susan says, I need to create, have a ton of finished jewelry, but not certain if people would buy my stuff. You never know. You never know until you try. This is the crystal bicones. It's just a little blingy strand for those of you who like a little bit of bling in your work. I love the color on these and the bling. These are approximately 4mm bicones, crystal bicones, only $3 for that strand. And the strand is about 14 inches. 14 inches. Norma says, LOL, and cleaning is the opposite of creative, right? Some people love to clean, and I would, I would love sometimes to be one of those people, but I am not. Not one bit. Cleaning is not a passion of mine. I wish I was one of those people who love to organize and love to clean. Oh, I bet Andrew wishes I was too, because we would have the most organized studio and the most organized offices. Just let me loose when he's gone. But that's not me. That is definitely not me. All right, let me put these away. That's 8. There's still one of those left. If anybody's interested, I've still got one of those. These are like a biwa pearl or a green biwa wired stick pearl, I'll call them. Chris says, I'm a total clutter bug. You're in good company. Susan says, I guess creative cleaning is a thing, right? I don't know. It's not a big thing for us, I would say. I guess getting creative. Look at these pretty colors. I like this is just so, like, that's making me happy right now. 11 has sold. Thank you so much. 11 has sold. So those crystals, one of them fell off the end there. I guess my strand came apart. It was together. Let me put this back on there. Real right quick. And grab this other end before it does the same thing. One moment while I try to tie these in a knot. My fingers are a little bit big for what I've got going on here. Well, my best. Do my best, that's all I can do. They might just get taped together. If you ordered this and it comes in a bag instead of on a strand, don't mind. Please don't mind. I was sorting things today, and I was doing a lot of tying up of things and pulling apart of things and unknotting things, and it made me a little bit crazy, but maybe it prepared me for this moment right now, as I try to get the very tiny end of this to pull through. Okay. I'm just going to put that away for now. Oops. Need the paper. And it says, Susan, selling at an auction has helped let me know people will pay for my stuff. That I have repeat customers lets me know that they are satisfied. That might be an easy way to test the waters before a shop. That's a good idea. Teresa says, I like cleaning and organizing. Oh, if only I did. I wish I did. FRW12. These are $8 each, and there are 2 of them available. Norma says, I worked at a fabric store at one time, and we had a coworker that absolutely loved cleaning the bathroom. So bizarre, but we always had a clean restroom to use. That is a good coworker to have. I have never had one of those. Yeah, that's hey. Some people love getting in there with the bleach and all that, making things clean again. I am not one of those people. All right. Let's see here. This is Andrew's fire pendant. These are in polymer clay. They are pressed. He made the mold, pressed the polymer clay coins, turned them into pendants, and then each one is individually hand painted. And those are $8 each. And they are approximately 33 millimeters, which I think is just about 1 1/4 inches. Yeah, just about 1 1/4 inches. Anne says, Norma, I bet everyone loved that. We didn't complain. I bet. Susan says, it's pouring down rain here now. Oh boy, we have no rain here. Is Suzanne here? I don't think I've seen Suzanne. Has anyone heard from her about, I know that she was worried about the flooding and stuff. Has anyone heard from her? And let's see here. Okay. I don't know if anyone new has sent any emails. Make sure it's info@allegorygallery.com if you're trying to claim anything. Some people just put allegory by mistake. And I just want to make sure if you're sending anything, we're getting it. Let's see here. What's next? Amanda says, the storm I was supposed to have ended up only being rain and not a whole lot. That's good. That's good. Our storm last night, it got wild here in Ligonier last night. The storm went wild. How much are these? These are 9. I have to say that. These are sterling silver charms. Again, old prices on these. This is a skull and crossbones sterling silver charm. FRW 13, $9. They're stamped 925. They would not be $9 anymore, I can tell you that. I've got 2 of these. FRW 13. Skull and crossbones for spooky season. Getting ready for it. Don't say I didn't start early this time, right? I started nice and early for spooky season. East of me, Amanda says, has had tornado warnings all day. Yikes. That's no good. That's no good at all. Okay, let me put this away. This is the Malachite FR9. That's still available. No claims on that yet. FRW9, only $10 for that strand. That's a nice strand for 10 bucks, I think. Of course, I priced it. So, and then we have this freshwater pearl strand. No claims on this yet. FRW10, still available. And then we'll leave 12 up here for a little bit yet, and 13 since we just put those up. FRW14. Let's see. We had these. These were 24. And we'll do them. I have one left of these. Anna says, I sent an email for 9. Did it get there? No. I did not get an email for 9. Anna. As I said, email's been tricky today. I'm hoping everybody's coming through. That's why I'm trying to review these. If I say something hasn't claimed that you sent an email for, please let me know. I have 2 claims for the other Biwa pearls. I still have one of those left, so I don't know if anyone claimed the last one, the FRW8s, but I got no claim for 9. That was the Malachite strand. Let me check my junk. Checked it. Nothing is popping through there. Let me go into there. Yeah, no. Try sending it again. I sent 2, and I'm not seeing them in my sent folder. Is yours doing the same thing mine is? I did the same thing today. I had a bunch of emails I sent, and they were not showing up in the sent folder. So it says crash, bang, boom, boom, boom is going on here. Last night, it was so... The rain, it was a little bit scary. Like, I don't usually get worried about thunderstorms, but it was a little bit much last night. All right. What's going on, Anna? Well, if you're not seeing them in your sent, that's probably on your side. I was going to say, I'm going to restart I'm going to just force quit my mail app and reopen it and see if that helps me. Okay. This is FRW14. These are these beautiful sandcast African glass, and they're in a green, a blue, and a little bit of like brown, almost like a purpley brown stripy look. And I love these, especially those green ones. The green ones are the ones that seem to have the purpley brown on one side. And this is a whole big strand of them. This is a 24-inch strand. It was $24. Now it's only $16 for you all. Do special prices here on the live. If you're new, you don't know that, but you'll come to learn if you hang out with us. These are about 7 millimeters by, that one is about 12.8 millimeters. FRW 14, $16. Norma says, we're having storms again tonight, and poor Waldo missed dinner because he's been hiding under my bed. He came out, looked towards the kitchen, and ran back under. Oh, poor boy. Yeah, I was going to feed the cats last night, but I had to wait because Gilbert was under the bed too, and I didn't want him to miss out, so I had to wait a little late to feed the cats last night. And it says, yesterday all day there were periods of torrential rain, and then it would stop off and on all day. So weird. And by evening it was perfectly dry out from the sun. We had the rain late last night. Like it was about 11 o'clock, 11:30. I don't know what was it? Was it 10:30? 10:30, I think, when my mom and my dad stopped talking, and I ran into the house, and it was just, they actually had to pull over at the gas station nearby because they couldn't continue on the way home. They couldn't see, it was raining so hard. Anne says, I found out when I expected my email to autofill the AG email address, sometimes it was autofilling some other address, also called Allegory Gallery, in my address book. I have to pay attention. What other address? Who you got in there? Allegory Gallery other address. That's strange. Okay, Anna, I just got your email, Anna. Thank you. It did come through this time. All right. Like I said, I will go through these and say which did not sell, so that helps, hopefully. If anybody else is having email issues, like me and Anna, apparently. That's so weird. Anna, do you have a Mac? Are you on an iPhone or a Mac? I'm wondering if it's a messenger address, so maybe I messaged you an Insta or something. Who knows? Email will suck any address into the address book. Huh. That's strange. I don't think that's happened to me before. But I usually just reply to people. I guess I don't really start a lot of emails like that. I do a lot of just replying. But we make you start a new one, so that's my fault. And it says, I sent from my other account, my regular one, the emails are stuck in the drafts folder. Huh. Let me look in my drafts folder. Hey, I do have some from today in my drafts folder. You're right. I didn't look in there. Anna, the same thing's happening to you that was happening to me. My sent mails were going in, they're hanging out in the draft folder. Thanks for saying that, because now I can go through at least and try and recreate them if I need to. And so I'm using my iPhone, it's a Yahoo address. Yeah, we have our Allegory Gallery address, and I was using my Mac earlier, but the same thing happened on my desktop. These are super beautiful, high quality peridot. I've got 2 of these strands available for $60. They were $68. And I have to be honest with you, $68 was the sell price. These are about $75 to $78 strands normally. And we're taking them down to $60 tonight. But look at the quality, the clarity of those, the color of that peridot. Beautiful gemstones. $60. And this is, I've been trying to get them sent and it isn't working. So odd. I didn't even know where they were. I couldn't find them. But I saw that mine, I think you missed the very beginning. Mine, you know how Apple now has this unsend thing where it delays your sending of your email so that you can unsend them if you want to. Mine got stuck at the unsend button got stuck. So I guess it was putting them in the drafts until they actually get put through. I thought they normally went into the outbox, but it looks like they're going to the draft folder. Look at those. Beautiful peridot, 16-inch strands on a sterling silver chain and lobster claw. You can take them apart if you want and restring them or use them in other ways. Make it into a beautiful bracelet. Look at that. That'd be a cute bracelet or an anklet. Ooh, put that on an anklet. Anklets are big right now. We've had a number of young people come into the class in Johnstown in our store and making anklets now again. Anklets are back in. And this is weird. I've never seen an unsend. Yeah, they have an unsend option now that comes up. And so you can set the duration of the unsend to be like, I think 2 minutes is the quickest or off, but 2 minutes and then 5 minutes, I think 15 minutes. It gives you the chance to unsend an email that you've hit the send button, but really all it does is it delays sending of it after you hit send. Susie says, I meant to say that I received some beady goodness today. I'll post pics tomorrow since I'm a bit lazy this evening, says Susie. Nice. I must have missed you where you were saying it before. I'm glad they made it. Oh, Kimberly, did you do your unboxing? Did you film it? I'm interested to see. How did it go? Let's see here. And it says Mercury in it, right? It hit today, Mercury retrograde today. We've sold one of the 15s. Thank you so much. We've got one strand left. One strand left. Teresa says, I've been selling a lot of waist beads. You know what? Now that you say that, yes, a number of people have come in looking to make waist beads too. I didn't really, now that you say that, it hit me. A few people lately have come into the store talking about waist beads and wanting to come in and maybe make stuff like that. So that's a good thing too. That's happening. Anne says, oh, I'd love to watch an unboxing. Me too. I love unboxings. Kimberly says, I'll be posting my video. It's in editing, working two day job hard right now. Yeah, I get it. And editing video is not for the faint of heart, right? I don't know how far you are in the editing process, but it can take some time if you're really editing. Like when I was editing stuff for Jen's videos, it took some time. Kim says, Kimberly, looking forward to your unboxings. Me too. I can't wait to see. I'm excited. All right. So far, 9 and 15 are the last claims. We still have 13, 14, and 1 of 15 available. Hopefully, if you've sent any emails, they're coming through. FRW16 coming up. Kimberly says, I only do minor editing. Yeah, and that's probably a good thing right now, because right now the biggest thing on YouTube, I don't know if you've been paying attention or reading up on what the newest trends are. The biggest thing on YouTube right now is unedited videos, just people talking to the camera. It's like what we do live every day with you all, but if it was a video that we recorded and uploaded instead of did it live. They like unedited videos. So right now, really, the only thing I would take out are big mistakes, or maybe just cutting out like ums. If you say as much as I do, I would cut my ums out. I have a tendency to do that. There, I just did it again. I got really good at not doing it when I was in college and doing public speaking classes and stuff, but I've gotten back into the habit, unfortunately. Kimberly says, but day job is kicking my butt this. I bet it is. This is the big week. Kim says, I wish I had a manager. Just make and pass it on to them. Oh, how much I wish could just pass stuff on to people. I wish I could do these lives with you all and then just pass everything on to somebody to do the shipping again. That would be so nice. Did I tell you all Barb stopped by yesterday? I think I mentioned it earlier yesterday in yesterday's show. She stopped by and said hi, and she still had the keys to the cottage here. She lives very close, so I let her have a key just in case we forgot ours or locked ourselves out or something like that, where there was an emergency and she was closer. But she is mostly moving to Florida, so she came to give us our key and see what we've been doing with rearranging and stuff here at the cottage. If you don't know, Barb used to be our shipping helper. We lost her to retirement, and now I have to do all the shipping. I have to do it all. Kimberly says, I just add an intro and an outro. Outro, right? Intro and outro. Nice. So this is FRW16. These are vintage freshwater pearls. They are really colorful. I don't know if you're seeing the colors reflecting on there. We love vintage pearls because they were often left to mature longer, so they have a better nacre coating or nacre coating on them, and they're so pretty. And we often get them at really good prices. If you tried to buy a strand of pearls like this in today's world at this quality, it would be a lot more than $12 generally. These are about, this should be that's a 16-inch strand, and $12 a strand. These pearls are approximately 6 millimeters. Kim says, I prefer the unedited take, shows you're human and mistakes like the rest of us, right? Yeah. The only reason I would edit Jen's most of the time, I didn't have to do much editing. Jen was a really good filmer, but I would edit out sometimes or things like that if there were a lot of them, if I noticed them. But also I would edit out some things for timing to try to not make it too long, because there were times when Jen would, we generally let her go through the full process because we found that people liked seeing the full process in a tutorial, but sometimes there were times she had to do the full process multiple times, and we would show it once, but we didn't need to show it like 3 times. We sold one of the 16s. Thank you so much. We still have one available. We have one of the 15s available, the peridot. Nobody wants the African strand. That's a really good price. African bead strand, 24-inch strand, and nobody has any of the skull and crossbone. No desire for those. Let me put some of this away. Put those skull and crossbones away. $9 only for the sterling silver charm. And I'm going to move this over. I still have hope for some of these. Still have hope for those. And these next items are, they're $8 each. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. These are really nice, high quality labradorite drops. I had some of these the other day, and I think we sold some, but these are a different shape. So we had ones that were kind of rectangular before. These ones are teardrop shaped. Beautiful faceted labradorite drops, flat backed. They are flat backed. So if you wanted to set them, you could. The holes go through across the top. So if you set them in a bezel, you could still set them like a ring if you wanted to. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. And the hole would be covered by the bezel. But beautiful flashes, really high quality stones, flat backs that make setting in a ring very easy if that's what you choose to do. Making your own pendant out of them with a silver surround, you could do that. Or you could just use them as is with the hole through the top. FRW17, we have 6 of them available, and they are $8 per stone. I'm showing you them all so you can see. You don't get to pick. We'll pick one for you. Unless you really ask nice and you really have a favorite, and you send us a screenshot of the exact one you want, I'll do my best. Can't guarantee, but I'll do my best. FRW17. But really, they're all nice. You'd be happy with any of them, I think. I would think. Okay, so the other night we had aquamarine rondelles, and we gave you a really good price on them. I think we did them for 20 a strand. So I'm going to do these for 20 a strand, but there's only one strand. There's the curve ball. Only one strand. These are prehnite rondelles. They would match the aquamarine rondelles if you got any of those the other night. But these are amazing prehnite. Mostly just the green. There's a little bit of the black in there, but it's mostly the gemmy green. These are smooth rondelles. I don't know why, but I love a smooth rondelle. It feels so good, and these look so juicy and gemmy. Excuse me. The aquamarine we had the other night was really, really superb, and these are equally nice in the pre-night. And I think they're 5.5, about 5.5 millimeter rondelles. This is the last strand of these that we have. I'm bringing the price all the way down to 20. We had priced them at 24 as the good price before. Bringing it down to 20 for y'all. One strand only, pre-night rondelles. If you're a pre-night fan, that's a good one right there. Oh, and the length of the strand, sorry, forgot that. Let me get them. This is a very long piece of thread. Let me actually make this normal, because it's the last one. It was the end of the line here. Whoa, that's what's happening. Do not fall off that end. Okay. This is a 13-inch strand. 13-inch strand, pre-night rondelles. Okay, so far we still have all of the 17s and the 18. So I'm just saying that in case anybody's sending emails that aren't coming through. 14 is still available, one of 15, one of 16, all of 17, and all of 18 still available. If you've sent an email for any of those things and I've said that they're still available, maybe try sending an email again. It might be getting stuck. Like Anna and me. Our emails getting stuck. How's everybody doing out there? Let me put these back. I'm going to put, here's my bag for the peridot. This beautiful peridot. One of those still left. $60 only, down from 68, which is down from about 78. It's high quality peridot. Okay, and we're going to do one of these. FRW 16. Oh, we just sold the other 16. Thank you so much. And let's see here. The last FR8 as well. Those green biwa pearls. Boy, I talked those pearls up so much, I don't even have a strand for myself now, but it's all right. I'm just glad they're loved. I'm glad they're loved. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. All right. And let's see here. Chris says, just sent an email. I just got it. Thank you so much. I know your emails are coming through now. When people are new or newer, I don't know if you've sent anything to us before or not, but sometimes they go to junk, and I have to make sure that they stay out of the junk folder. Sometimes I got to push them out of the junk folder like 18,000 times before it trains it to know. Yours went right into the inbox, so that's good. That's a good plus. All right, this is an excellent strand if you like carnelian. It's a vintage carnelian strand. Let's see here. This was $24. I'm going to bring it down to $16. And these are beautiful carnelian nuggety drops. Like, they just, again, they're so smooth and they feel so good. And they have such good patterns and colors. Deep, rich carnelian, vintage strand, only one available. And these are it's a 16-inch strand. It does have spacers in there though. But the nuggets are about 15 millimeters by about 10.5. Sorry, everybody. My throat is a little bit dry. Let me take a drink. I've also been taking this new allergy medicine. I was talking about this the other day. I showed it. It's this stuff. It's homeopathic allergy calm from France, made in France. This came as a surprise to us through somebody sent it to us. We didn't know who. I found out it was my aunt. And she said, remember, it's homeopathic, so you have to take it like often. Like you take it every day or keep it in your system. And I will tell you, I take like the first day or two, they tell you to take, I'll show you what the pills look like. So they're like that big. That's all they are. You take like 5 of them every hour for the first like 4 or 5 hours the first day. And then I take like 5 of them like maybe twice a day now. You put it under your tongue and let them dissolve. And I have to say, I have not taken a single allergy pill like a Claritin or anything else since I started taking these. And I feel pretty clear, and I have not had a lot of my hives that I sometimes get since I've been taking it. And I don't know if it's just, I haven't been on it very long. It's been maybe 4 or 5 days now, but I have felt no need for any type of Claritin. I was on 2 to 3 allergy pills a day, and now I just take that. So just passing that on. If anybody's interested in that kind of stuff, you might want to try it. I have to say, it's been working pretty well for me. All right, this is FRW20. This is an S-word crystal drop, $6. 1 available. This is a big S-word faceted crystal drop. Beautiful color. And this is approximately 12.7 by 21.8 millimeters. 1 available. S-word crystal drop, $6. All right, FRW21. Let me check something real quick. We just sold the crystal drop. Thank you so much. And my screen just flipped. Let me flip this back around. Sorry about that. I don't know why it does that either, but you know. All right. If you like rhodonite, this is a beautiful rhodonite strand. We had it at 16. I'll bring it down to 14. There's only 1 of them. It's a nice big rhodonite strand. I know some of y'all out there like the rhodonite. This has some really pinky pinks too. Sometimes rhodonite pink is pretty bland most of the time. And there's some of that, you know. But there's some really nice pinky pinks on this one too. Look at that one. Ooh, that's almost like ruby-like. So these are these little cute little coins. And they're 8 millimeters. 8 millimeters by about 4. And this is a 16-inch strand of rhodonite coins. Super cute little coins too. If you like rhodonite, that's a good deal. $14 only. Let me take 20 away since it has sold. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, nobody wants any of the labradorite drops. Nobody needs any of those in their life right now. I'm going to take them away. I'm saying this mostly because I want to make sure that nobody sent an email and we missed out on getting your email. But we've sold none of these 17s. So let me know if you've sent an email for 17 and I didn't get it. Teresa says, I take that. I really love it. I was on 3 allergy medications and 3 nasal sprays before. Now I don't need any prescription medicine. Good. I'm glad that somebody else is having the same effect or having the same results with it, because I was like, maybe it's just me making it up. Maybe maybe the allergies, maybe it's just not allergy season, but now that you say it, good. You take the same thing and you're having the same results. That's awesome. I need to get Andrew to take it. Kimberly says, by the way, I did pull my witchy friend into the video. She hangs in my office. Nice. Nice. All right. We appreciate that. Okay. Boy, I talk about allergy medication. It's working so well, and then I keep coughing. FRW22. It never fails when I get on camera. Andrew talks about this. Somehow getting on camera makes everything. You're going to cough. You're going to, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen once you're on camera. Okay, no one wants the rhodonite yet. I have these little butterflies in carved serpentine. They're $1 each only, and there are 4 of them available. $1 each, 4 of them available. They are drilled through the center, top to bottom. Carved serpentine butterflies. Super cute. FRW22. $1 each, 4 of them available. Alrighty, what's next? Pretty butterflies, says Anna. They are, right? I think they're super cute. And they're hand carved. Hand carved for $1? What? How can that be? Okay, spooky season time again. I think we had these in silver the other day, and I think I sold out of them. If I remember. And so I found these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. I have 13 of these. 13 of these little cats. They're $1.25 each. This is the, as we call them, the Halloween Cat Attack Now. Halloween Cat Attack Now stance. And I told that story. Paolo, when he was young, we were carving pumpkins in the house. Before we carved the pumpkin, he jumped up on the pumpkin and did his little attack stance. So we call that Halloween Cat Attack Now. We actually had a pendant that Andrew did it was a cutout, an acrylic cutout pendant, and we called it Halloween Cat Attack Now pendant. And so these are cute little cat charms. Good for Halloween, good for any time. It doesn't have to be Halloween to have a little attack cat with you, guarding you. FRW23, $1.25 each. And I was telling you too, with that homeopathic allergy stuff, my aunt also sent us a book that's written from the perspective of a cat called Maybe I'm Not God. Or maybe I'm not God after all. Maybe I'm not God. Something like that. And it's pretty cute. Each chapter is only like a page or a page and a half. So it's very quick to get through. It's my kind of book. And it was written by this woman in Italy, and it's been translated into English. and it's super cute so far. I'm a little bit over halfway through it. I read most of it. I read it all last night up to that point. Oh, we just sold the Rhodonite coins. Thank you so much. That's FRW21 and sold. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Okay. FRW24. Terry says the kittens do the same pose when they see the adult cats, right? But that's what that reminded me of, because I was reading that book and it talks about kind of that stance, I think, at one point in the book, or at least that's what it brought to my mind, that image. We've sold 8 of these so far. Thank you so much. We've got 5 of them left. 5 Halloween cats left. Ooh, these are nice. I love these next ones. Let's see here. How many of these do I have? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. 8 of these. They're $4 a strand. Super crystally bright. Look at these. I love these cubes. I love a good cube shape. And I love these with the AB finish, that metallic finish on them. These are, let me get this down, 4 millimeters. Yep, 4 millimeter cubes. These are just about 6-inch strands. Beautiful cubes. I just look at them all together. Look. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Rainbows, rainbows everywhere. So they're $4 each, 8 strands available. These were hiding away. I haven't seen these in quite some time. I just sold 1 of them. Thank you so much. FRW25 coming up. Let me put some stuff away. Let me take the pre-night away. So far, the pre-night is still available. Nobody grabbed that. They're pre-night rondelles. $20 only, one time only, $20. And let's see, 19. Nobody got the carnelian? Strange, but okay. Carnelian drops, beautiful vintage carnelian drops, $16 only for that strand. 1 strand available. We had a few though. Some of y'all may have that one already. But I'm saying it again just in case somebody sent me an email and it didn't come through. We're having some issues today. And then FRW22, the butterflies. Nobody grabbed the butterflies yet. So those are still available if you're interested in those. 4 of them, $1 each. Should have just made it a lot. $4. Easy. Okay. We have 5 of the cats still available. We have 7 of the crystal strands still available. And it says, oh, there's a great book from a cat's perspective called Love Saves the Day by Gwen Cooper. I highly recommend it. So check that out. Okay, what's in my bag of goodies next? Okay, these were $5. I'm going to make them $3 each. There are 5 of them available. Those cats want to hang out by themselves down there. These are turquoise nuggets. They are stabilized. They are highly stabilized to the point where they've got quite a coating on them. But I think that makes them kind of different, right? And I think they're drilled mostly, lengthwise, top, like lengthwise. And $3 a stone. Super highly stabilized turquoise. I just think it's a different look. You don't normally see it like that. And so there's 5 of them available. If anybody's interested in those, $3 each. I think they're kind of cool. FRW 25. No more takers on 24? Just sold one of those? You don't like bling? You don't like rainbows? What? What? FRW 26. I kid. I know you can't get everything, right? Although I would like that. This is a ceramic pendant by Harry Wood. It is $14. And it is a beautiful green. Look at this green. There's lots of green tonight. I didn't mean for that to happen. But I've noticed I've had a lot of green tonight. FRW 26 is this beautiful large sunflower in ceramic in green by Harry. And this is approximately 32.7 by 40 millimeters. FRW 26. One of those available, $14. I think it's cool. I love it. I love a good sunflower, and I especially like green, so works for me. Okay. FRW 27, $4. I have to look at this because I'm like, so this is, looks like a lampwork glass of some sort, but it's a sparkly purple and orange, purple, orange, pink kind of design. You get the 2 little rounds and you get the larger center kind of wobbly, I don't know what you call that. I don't know if there's a term for what that is, but I love that. You can kind of see the spiral design on it. And it's only $4 for the set. Really good price. These are about 7 millimeters for those, and the large one's about 13 by 12. FRW 27. Let me make some more room. We're going to put the cats away. Where is a good bag? What do I do with the bag for the cats? Let's use this one. Kimberly says, that is gorgeous. Isn't it pretty? It's really pretty. I don't think it's like lamp work by a specific person. I mean, it has to be by a person, but you know, it's $4. So, you know, somebody did it, but I'm guessing it's more of a mass-produced one. All right, 24 we're putting back for now. These are $4 each. Susan says those cats are adorable, aren't they? Super cute. All right, we still have 25 and 26 unsold. We just sold 27. Thank you so much. 27 is now gone. I love when cats get in that stance, especially when they're young and kittens and they're playing and they're jumping around sideways. They usually jump sideways when they get in that. It's so cute. Older cats don't seem to do that very much, but the young ones, they like to play that way. Let's see here, FRW 28. Oh, I love this piece. This piece by Harry. This is 16. I can't believe it didn't sell the first time. We've only run it once, I think. But look at this face. Like, pair that with some bone or some wooden beads, African beads. I think that'd be so cool. This is a pendant by Harry Wood, ceramic. Just super cool. And I'm going to do it in inches because it's a long one. It's about 2.5 inches by about 1 3/8 at the widest. So $16, FRW 28. Okay. FRW 29. This is $12. This is another sterling silver charm. We just sold 28. Thank you so much. That would be neat with some Egyptian beads, says Kimberly. Right? This is a sterling silver snake and skull charm. $9.25. Sterling silver, only $12. Super cool. I love this charm, but I know some people are weirded out by snakes and skulls. But if you're not, it's a cool charm. Good for spooky season. It's approximately 10 by 21 millimeters. 10 by 21 millimeters. And let's see here. FRW. I sure hope my email starts working and working well. I don't know why. Oh, it's making me crazy. Can't email people. Trying to email people back today. Found out it wasn't. These are $8 for the pair. Thankfully, I'm getting emails, it seems like. I'm not having a problem getting them. Other than some of them were going into the spam on the other computer. So I'm going to be rebuilding databases from my email. These are glass loops. There are no holes, but they're super cool. They would go great with amethyst or any of your purple crystals, things like that. Also, of course, purple and green go really well together. So it's FRW 30. 2 of those, you get both of them for $8. FRW 30. 28 is sold. And again, I'm trying to go over with everybody what hasn't or has sold in case you sent an email and we've not gotten it. Some people are having the same problem as me and their emails are not going out. Getting stuck in the drafts, we found out. Thank you, Anna, for finding that out again, because now I can find my emails and try and send them again. We'll see if it works. FRW 25. Are these still unclaimed? Turquoise, if anybody would like any of those. I'm going to take them away for now, though. And let's see here. Let's move this over, move this over, move these over. FRW 31. Now I have some cool vintage plastic, and I don't know if you all are going to like it or not, but we'll see. It's this frosted vintage plastic, clear frosted, and you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 of these drops, and we're doing this for the low price. Normally this would be about $8. We're doing it for half price for y'all. $4 for the 12 drops. FRW 31. Boy, you can barely see them. Let me move a few onto the wood so you can actually see what they are. I think they're super cool. I love frosted things like that. I don't know. I just think they're cool. I think they'd be really cool in earrings. I don't know if you could dye them. That would be more of an Andrew question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I thought. Yeah, and there's slightly larger ones. You get 10 of these for the same $4. So FRW32, $4. You get 10 of those. So these ones are 9.5 by 26.5, and these ones are 11.5 by 31.5. So FRW 31 and FRW 32. All right, 26 has not sold. That's the hairy pendant. The large sunflower in green. Let me put that away. If you send an email for that, I did not get it. 29 is the skull and snake charm in sterling silver for only $12. That is still available. Let me put that away. And let's move 30 over. I hate to move these over because then you can hardly see them. I guess you can see them a little bit. Whoa. Okay. How's everybody doing? What'd y'all have for dinner? I actually have not eaten anything but a few Oreos in like the last 24 hours, I think. I didn't eat dinner last night. I had French fries at the ball game, so I did have some French fries. And then I got home, and by the time I got done with doing the D-stash and then working on those decals for the new enamel pendants, I just went to bed, and I didn't just cook any dinner. So, oh, Sandra's here. Says, hello, I just joined. You're missing so much, Sandra. You're missing so much good stuff. But welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's important you're here. We like having you here. I didn't cook anything. And then I got up today, and I haven't eaten anything, but my mom gave me a box of fudge-covered Oreos, which I've never had before. And I stopped at 3 last night. I was so proud of myself. And then I had like 6 today. No, like 9. No. Yeah, 6 today. 6 today. So not terrible, but I was trying to stop at 4 at the most. This is FRW 33. This is an Andrew porcelain pendant. It's a porcelain frog by Andrew Thornton. And this is 31.5 millimeters. Sandra says, thanks. I'll have to go back and watch. I watched part of the show yesterday. Yesterday we had a lot of nice black spinel beads and some sea creature charms. We had beautiful, chunky, giant quartz beads. I don't know if you saw those. They were pretty amazing. They were a little bit high dollar, but we gave a good discount on them. Let's see. What's everybody saying? Susan had baked potato and steamed broccoli. That sounds good. Julie said, just ate the rest of my turkey sandwich from lunch. And hi. Hello, Julie. Hubby made enchiladas. They were really good, says Amanda. Ooh, that sounds really good. Norma made impossible taco pie and had it with guacamole, pico de gallo, and sour cream, plus cream cheese banana bread. Oh my goodness, you had like a feast, Norma. That's like a feast. And Amanda, 2 of the enchiladas. Sandra says, I saw the carnelian stones. Stunning. Which carnelian? I'm trying to remember. What carnelian did I have yesterday? I'm like blacking out. I don't know, but good. I'm glad you like them. Kim had leftover corned beef with potatoes and an egg on top. Ooh, that all sounds good. I think I can't even remember. The reason I brought it up too is I was trying to remember what I bought to make yesterday, because I bought something from the store, but I can't remember. I think I bought spaghetti. I think I also got some rice-a-roni, like an Alfredo rice-a-roni, and then I think I got spaghetti, which was weird as a choice together, but I must have been having a craving. And yeah, so I think I have spaghetti to make tonight. I got some beans to put in it. All right. This is this cute little matte frosted star strand with an AB finish. They're $3, leaving them at $3, but this would go really well with stuff like this if you're interested in that. Sandra says they were big chunk carnelian. That may have been the day. Oh, that may have been the. Oh, I think that was the day before. You were watching the day before. You weren't watching yesterday then. We had the big chunk carnelian. That sold, I believe. I think the big chunk carnelian. And then that same day we had the smaller, juicy little, I think, simple cut carnelians. And those are still available, I believe. But I think the big chunk sold, finally. All right. So far, no claims for 30, 31, 32, 33, or 34. If you've sent an email for any of those, let me know. Because I was, because I'm not getting them. I'm not getting your emails. Let me put some of these away. I'm going to put 30 away. Sandra says, no, I watched multiple days. I was binging. Oh, good. That's the way to do it. Binge on us. I like it. Thank you for watching. All right. Nobody wants these frosted little gems? Okay. I have more of the frosted stuff, but since nobody seems to want these, is it the shape or you just don't like that style? Because if it's just that style, I have some, I think, I have some melons in that frosted vintage melons and vintage plastic. I have large melons, small melons, and even smaller melons. Is anybody interested in that top? Or not? You don't like that? Or you do? Let me know. Susan says, I like it, just budgeting. That's okay. But if you're interested in seeing the melons, let me know that too. Because I think I picked more than 40 things today, so I have a little bit of leniency. Sandra says, I was outside and it looks like I have a sinkhole near my septic. I have to call someone tomorrow. I'm nervous. Oh boy. Hopefully it's nothing major. Hopefully it's nothing major. Have you been getting a lot of rain? Kim says, I like them. They look like sea glass. They do look like sea glass, but much lighter. Okay, I will show you the medium. How about I'll show you the medium melons? And if you want more melons, oh, I'll just show them all to you. What the heck? FRW35. They're all going to be $4. So 35. FRW36 and FRW37. Sandra says, I pray it's not. Yes, we've gotten a lot of rain. Sending you good vibes for sure. Yeah, hopefully it's nothing major. Okay, these are the big melons. Look how nice they are. Vintage plastic. You get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of the large ones. They are 19.5 millimeters by about 13. That's FRW 35. What did I just do? Here, which one's the next one? These are the mediums coming up. Susan says, oh, these are FRW 36. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of those. Those are the medium size for $4. Let's see here. So, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't think I should put it up. No, you should get that checked out for sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Of these. And those are $4. Let me give you the size of these ones. So these ones, what we said, were 19.5. These ones are 17.5. And these ones are 15.5. All right. What do you think of those? Everybody like those? Let's see. We sold one of the 35s, the larger ones. Thank you so much. Oh, and my screen just turned again. Okay, let me see what I've got here in my bag now. Let's do this little friend. This is FRW 38. Boy, we only did this at $6. Okay. Whoops. What is going on? We just sold some of the 37. Thank you so much. I do have multiples of these. I didn't write it in there, but I have multiples. So just because I'm saying these are sold, don't think they're sold out. I have more. Multiple lots available of those. So you can claim more than one as well if you'd like to. Let's see here. And this one I do only have one of. This is another one of Andrew's porcelain pieces. Get out of the bag. There we go. One of Andrew's porcelain pieces that he made some time ago. Aren't they fun? I love the color on this. Made out of porcelain, and it is approximately 28 by 31.5 by 4.5. One of those available. And let me see here. All right, let me put away. Why does my screen keep doing this? Stop it. There we go. All right. FRW 33. This is the frog pendant, still available. $8. And FRW34. This is still available, $3. And these are the melons, 35, 36, 37, and 38. And let's see. There's my pen there. It is. I'm making a mess. Let's move this over so I got some room. FRW39. What should I do for 39? How about Pre-Night Cubes? These were 28 a strand. We're going to do them for, let's give you a really good deal, $16 a strand. Let me see how many I've got. 5 strands available. FRW39. 5 strands of beautiful Pre-Night Cubes. Look at those. They're even ombre-ed. A little bit of the yellow in there, and then the lighter green. These are nice long strands, 12. They're 16 inch, a little over 16 inches. And these cubes are about 4.5 millimeters. 4.5 millimeter Pre-Night Cubes. 5 strands available. FRW39. $16 only, down from $28. $16 only. All right, let's make a little bit of room. Let's move the big ones. So with this pretty Pre-Night, great quality. They are. We have some good vendors, y'all. They do good by us. I'm going to put these medium size away as well. FRW36. This is the medium size. Whoa! Vintage plastic frosted melon beads. Still have some of those available if you're interested. And let's see here. Let's move 37, 38, Andrew's porcelain donut, and 39. And FRW40. Let's see, what do I want to do? What do I got? There's a few things in here. What do I think we'll end the night with? How about these? These are really pretty. They were $1.50 each, but let's make them $1 each. So $7. And these are these beautiful vintage Chinese ceramic beads. These gorgeous flowers on them. They almost look celestial, but then they've got the flower on them. There's that beautiful lapis blue color. And you get 7 beads, $7 for the lot, 14 by 6, about 17. We'll say 14 by 17 millimeters. And you get the whole lot for $7. Only one of those available. That's FRW40. FRW40. And that's the last lot I'm going to do for tonight because I've kept you all here long enough. We've been going for 3 hours. And I'm going to add more things to the D-Stash. So if you are not on the Andrew Thornton Project D-Stash on Facebook, be sure to check that out. I'll be adding more things to that later tonight. I thought it was going to be earlier tonight, which is why I started this live early, but then we got to talking so long today that it's no earlier. But I appreciate you all hanging out with me. And if you have any questions, send us an email, please. We're happy to take a look at anything for you. And hopefully my email will be working again soon and start actually sending emails out to people. That would be nice. We've sold one of the 39s. Thank you so much. That's the pre-night. Yeah, I've been having a problem with emails lately. So if you don't hear from me in a day or two usually, that usually means that I may have not gotten it. So please feel free. I usually try to respond Monday through Thursday at least, within 2 days or so. So if you don't get a reply from me, it's very possible that I didn't get it or something happened. I do try and check my spam folder, but it's not always foolproof. So please feel free to email me again. I don't mind. I would rather answer your questions than not. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out tonight. It's been a great night. Oh, you know what's tomorrow? The Creative Make-Along, y'all. I totally blanked on the Creative Make-Along. So that is tomorrow night. If you'd like to hang out with me on Zoom, I will try to do the Creative Make-Along tomorrow. I don't know if anybody's going to be available or if anybody was planning to hang out. I've had the Facebook event up for a while, but even I forgot that it was coming up. So I forgot to let people know. So if you want to hang out in the Creative Make-Along tomorrow, I hope you will. I will send out an email probably in the morning or in the afternoon letting people know that we're still going to have it. So that will be in lieu of the live tomorrow night. But I might have a live during the day depending on how busy I am at the store. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do some store stuff, show you some of the stuff we have in the store that you don't get to see very often. So we'll see. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing evening. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye, everybody.